of tiles. Well, it's like mad. Well, it's not mad, but how it all began is mad. And I knew this would happen. Long story, really short.
Hang on, let me just get my head straight. Was that your mother? Are you talking about your mother?
No, I'm not speaking to my mother. We're not speaking. I don't have anything with her. Well, apart from she's my mother and I love her, you know. So there's always going to be something there, isn't there? But no. No. But it all began about 2 months ago. I was lying in bed. I was awake still. And I heard this, well, it was the night. There was a chopper. I don't think it was a real helicopter. It was just parked on the, not parked on the roof. Apologise. Oh my God, I've lost the power of speech. Apologies. It was just parked up the hill, like literally. I made a video about it and I sound bonkers, like I sound like a paranoid or something. But it was the trippiest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, well, not the trippiest thing, but it was just so unreal, because it probably was unreal. But the thing is, it looked very real. And I didn't say like in the video I made about it. You know, it may well not be real, because I don't think choppers can just hover for like 4 hours, just like up the hill. Do you know what I mean? Anyhow, it was that night, and it sounded as though, we're going to put it to a human element, it sounded as though you had, well, there was just this mad scraping across my roof. And it happened twice. The first time the chopper was parked at the hill, well, whatever looked like the chopper was parked at the hill. The second time, it sounded horrific. And, I thought, oh my God, I'm going to have massive problems with my roof. And then a little while later, probably about 3 weeks ago, 2 of the tiles slipped. And so obviously, that like confirmed the fact I was going to have to get something done with my roof. And it all stems back to when I very first got the house. And one of our old family friends that I spent a lot of time, well, they were like, yeah, we didn't have, yeah, basically, he was come around and surveyed the house before I bought it. And one of the things Mum said to me was, oh yeah, and Terry says that the roof's fantastic, you'll have no roof issues because blah, blah, blah. Well, isn't it ironic that literally a month after she and I go no contact, suddenly there's this mad scraping across the roof twice, and then 2 tiles slip, like, not long later. And so now, oh, I couldn't believe it. I woke up on, I didn't sleep Saturday night or till 3 o'clock Sunday morning. And then woke up not really late Monday, because normally if I miss a night's sleep, I'll normally still wake up early. But it was like 12:30 when I first opened my eyes. And then I didn't get up till 1:30. I was like, this is like unbelievably late. And then I went to the loo and started doing a bath. Made a coffee, made tea. I've been drinking tea at the moment, not coffee. I had my first coffee in like months, well, in about 6 weeks. Tonight, just that. Anyhow, come back upstairs and there's a pool of water in here. And I'm like, oh no. Oh God. Anyhow, long story short, that's it, that's the story. So, and then I'm like really, I mean, I knew that I wanted to get a roofer out. I'd already been asking for the last 2 weeks, but I'm being stonewalled every day. Being stonewalled to even get a roofer to come and check my flaming roof, I'm being stonewalled. Every which way I turn, no one will like even come and give me a price. So, I need a roofer, I need someone to...
Have you got insurance? Have you got insurance?
Yeah, but I think it's about to run out. I mean...
When I never bothered with it. When I got my house, I thought, right, okay, let's be a grown-up here. So I got...
Well, not grown-up, surely. As opposed to what a kid.
So I got insurance and all that. Worth having, but like, yeah, that's.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful house. Have it. How long have you been there? It's beautifully done up.
Well, I moved in September. I moved in either my birthday, 2012, or the day after my birthday. I think it might be. I can't remember if it was the day of my birthday or the day after. It was one of the two. It's a beautiful house, which if any visitors seem to come to at the moment, they all go like mental, literally.
Yeah,
like you know,
you've got it done beautifully.
It wasn't beautiful. Thank you.
You said your knee was hurting again.
Oh well, you know what it's like. They keep changing because I mean, I do make my videos for. Well, I've said on the videos, I make them for 2 reasons, because it needs to be out there, but I'm also counter-moving. And each time I make a video saying, oh, this is happening, or that's happening, they change tactics. So, we've moved on from hair, and we've moved on from, like, the kind of targeting they were doing before, to someone parked at the end of the road, usually. I haven't made a video about this yet. To implants keep getting switched on, which I've made videos about, but every time I try and make a video about it, it's really difficult to talk about because they always, you know, it's just really hard to get. It's really hard because start switching them on. It's really hard to get the words out. But I haven't even watched the videos back. I just whacked them online. Haven't even watched them back, which I rarely do. I do normally watch my videos back before I upload them. Made a video yesterday where I tried to talk purely about implants, which is what I need to work on tonight, purely because I have made a good video today about, I'm so excited, about the Prince of Wales Park. And just basically, I found some stocks in town. And I found out that the clearing by the rocks in the Prince of Wales Park was originally the marketplace, which is fascinating because what were marketplaces in the olden days? I mean, in the olden days when there were still stocks and hangings and torture, energy gathering places. We didn't have supermarkets in the old days. We had markets, and in the marketplace, everything happened. That was like the social gathering place. And so the fact that these stocks I found in town were originally in the Prince of Wales, right in front of those rocks. So I love it. I love that I get to make these videos years ago, and I've got nothing to go on, just instinct and whatever gods. You know what I mean? I've got nothing, no proof to back me up. It's like the initiation rocks just above me with that. It's like I didn't know anything about them. It took me years, and I stumbled online 3 years later and find some information about them. And I'm like, it's brilliant. I love that. So I was so excited to go and film there. So excited. I need to do pounds.
Sorry, and I've got a friend. I'm open-minded about the implant thing, but I've got a friend that from America she was very instrumental in getting compensation for MK Ultra victims in America. She was in the military, and she's been telling me her story for 7 years. I've got threads, I could write a book just based on our conversations going back 7 years. And she had told me about this horrendous scar from her, you know, the same as mine, from her belly button to her pelvis, this horrible, scar on her abdomen. And she'd been given some silly story about how she'd been shot and they had to take a bullet out. And she didn't have any memory of getting shot or anything. And she just was totally shocked, why is my stomach totally brutalized and scarred, and why don't I believe the reason that you're telling me? And it did make, and then when I posted a horrendous picture of my stomach from the surgery last year, she got in touch and said, oh my God, that's identical, that's exactly what happened to me. And we did sort of wonder then, is it implant removal or all that? Yeah, who knows? It's tiny. I
mean, implants are tiny. You wouldn't think they'd have to do a huge scar.
Yeah, I'm 58. She's probably 68. They're refining this stuff every generation.
It's just that I know, I also know people who've been in this from the same, time patch as my mother. And you, and older, and they had implants, which didn't, I don't know anyone's had implants removed, and then people have had implants, but we're not having them removed, so I don't know, I can't comment, on how
I'm looking forward to Miles refining, he spends loads of money, he's got different gadgets, and he's always looking to kind of get the next level of gadget. I really wouldn't, I wouldn't mind. But this thing about, I think he's put 120 grand into the bases in the last, few years. He's put vast amounts of money in, and he's still got a reserve.
Came along.
And a lot of people say they're broke, just in case people might say, well, can you lend me some money?
Give me £1,000, give me it now. Pay my room.
No, I do know, and my ex-husband was like that. It's a joke in Ireland about farmers. Farmers will always tell you they're struggling and they're hardly making any money.
Hey, guess who I saw yesterday?
Who?
Well, for a millisecond, my ex-boss, his wife. So it was really funny because I messaged the secretary on Monday about my mare, the horse which I was posting online, the black mare, and she's going to be a brood mare, right? And so the long and short is when I left, She gave me, I said, can you give me her owner's contact details? Because, like, my dream, or idea, should I say, is that when she's finished being a broodmare and they've got no use for her anymore, I want her. And I'm thinking, by the time that happens, and we were talking about at least 4 years' time, I'll be able to have her, because they're not always going to be skint, you know?
The trouble is, I promise you, because I've always had dogs and my horse until she was 32. The trouble is, if you've got already a cat, if you get a horse, that's it. You are not travelling anymore.
I'm not travelling anyhow.
No, I know. But
no,
that you want.
not necessarily.
It's like becoming a cat lady all the time.
I want to have a racehorse rehab, so I won't be travelling anyhow, will I?
But can't you travel sometimes? Because it's such
Yeah,
a...
I'm not 4 years away. That wasn't the point. Listen, this is why my boss drove past. Right, so I messaged the secretary asking if they've got an email address. Now, she gave me a post-it note with that address on. I looked online, no email details anywhere. And so I thought, I'd rather have an email address, because it's easier to just type these days than it is to write a letter. Oh, don't get me wrong, I'll write a letter, but I just would rather... And also, I was curious if she'd get back in touch, because a week ago I saw the last one work in...
Yeah, you told me that.
Yeah. So, so basically I thought, like, toying with the idea of messaging her for ages. So I did, anyhow, right? So I didn't twig until yesterday. Why? And then I thought, oh my God, you messaged the secretary the day before. I mean, she knows where I live, obviously. But where I live, I mean, what's the chances? I'm putting the rubbish out for collection, and she comes motoring past me. Now, I am quite on the ball from the point of view that I will, like, have a little side glance at cars coming by me if I'm putting, if I'm out there. Someone just texted. It's totally thrown me off. Yeah, so I'm putting the rubbish out. Now, we can look at this whichever way you want. I'm putting the rubbish out on my ex-boss drives past. So, is Nina rubbish, or are they? But that's looking into it too deep. The point is, I looked to my side, and maybe I recognise the sound of the vehicle, because it's the same one they've had the whole time I've worked there, the one she was driving, and she drove past like this. It was like the trippiest thing I've ever seen in my life. If she'd have just driven past, like, blinkers on, then it wouldn't have been quite... It was like, they are so angry with me, and you've got no idea. Just the very fact...
Why? What have you done? You've done nothing.
Talking online about them, doing nothing, knowing things which I haven't spoken about, doing nothing. They know the things I could be talking about and I'm not doing. Trust me, they're furious with me. Trust me, they're furious with me. Anyhow, it was just really interesting because, and it was really funny as well, because I had a black dress on with my cowboy boots. It was like 9 in the morning or something like that. But it's been really rainy and I've been wanting to walk, and I'd rather walk with tights on, because if they get soaking, they dry really fast. And that's been the whole dress thing recently. If you walk in jeans, you're stuck in soaking wet jeans, aren't you? It was just funny because I had my slippers on, and I looked outside and I thought, well, I could have made it to the end of the road with my slippers on, but they'd have got a bit damp, because it wasn't raining, but it was damp. So I just whacked my calf. I wasn't even going to wear them. It was just they were the nearest boots, the easiest ones to whack on. It just made me laugh that she drove past like she did. As she did, and I'm there in cowboy boots and a little black, well, it wasn't that little, it's quite long. But that's not, it was a way she looked just like him when she drove past. It could have been him. It was so trippy. A female version of him. And so, they've morphed into the same person. Well, I suppose they always have been kind of the same person.
That happens. People like their dog. And people that are couples, some people, they end up looking like each other.
Yeah, but he was going to look like...
Sometimes it's like nice.
Well, yes. It could be, it's interesting. Well, it's nice. Getting better, touch wood. Touch of luck, that's wood. No, she's getting better. Everything's, like I said, things have changed. I mean, she's not totally better. But I had the genius idea, it's only taken me like 2 months to have the genius idea of getting the magnet off the cat flap. I know, only 2 months. I thought I'd look at the cat flap, it can't be that, because it's one of them, the ones with the magnets in, so only your cat can get in. I thought, check out the cat flap, I wanted to take a collar off. Definitely, it's probably more like 6 weeks. I wanted to take a collar off because it's bald, where a collar is. Anyhow, I couldn't because she couldn't get in and out if I did that. And she just loves to go outside and run around. She loves it. She just loves it.
Yeah. I think it's cruel to keep a cat just stuck in.
So it gets me really riled when people have pets, cats, and keep them indoors. It's like
dogs, even
selfish.
Dogs that never get out. That makes me rage.
In America, people that own them as their yard and think that's the equivalent to a walk. I mean, seriously, that's sick. Why have a dog? Oh, don't get me started. I'll just start ranting. Anyhow, yeah, so it was just, I know it's only really tidy and insignificant, but it was interesting. And as for the cat flap, I took the magnet out. It took me all of about, 2 minutes, if that, to get the magnet out the cat flap. So now she's got no collar on, and she can run in and out the house without having to worry about a collar. And I've got to do some sewing because all my clothes are falling apart. I was wearing this. You see it? It's just a silly dress rag. I've decided it doesn't matter if I don't go anywhere posh. I can wear whatever I want whenever I want. And so fuck the world. If I want to wear a nice dress every now and then, I'm going to. Oh, that's really nice. Yeah. It's quite a lot like that actually. Just the straps are different. Yeah, I like it. It's lovely. It's cool way, isn't it? You can buy all sorts of cool stuff for really like hardly any money.
I know. I was going to tell you as well because I try and shy away from. I suppose I'm still attached to not looking like a tinfoil hat person. So I know. So I'm nervous talking about implants.
My tinfoil hat looks good.
I'm nervous talking about implants and I'm nervous talking about covert harassment. But I tell you, when I did today something I've been putting off for 2 months, which was writing to the coroner and the police to say why I'm not happy, and then I shared about it, I got instantly zapped with nausea that had me flat on my back all afternoon. It was like hours and hours and hours of feeling like I'd been poisoned. And I didn't want... And did you see, I don't suppose you did, but Ben Fellows has been, he won his court case against Ken Clark. Well, he put up a status about being poisoned, and I really wanted to say to him, actually I should ask you, can I send him a couple of your videos on that? Because
the reason why I really don't look into the people, unless I know them, and then it's no, because I think it's not cool in a good way. But I think it's really cool when stuff's happening and you don't know what's going on around you, and it all links up. That's why I stay quite insulated.
And somebody got in touch with me and said, "Have you seen Ben's status?" And then I saw it about being poisoned, and then he said about covert harassment, and he actually said, "Watch that film, Enemy of the State with Will Smith," which is ironic. And I watched it, and it's like from 1998, so God knows, this is like nearly 20 years later. You know.
That was so hard. I think I've seen it.
I did want
to watch it again.
Yeah, I watched it just because he said so. He said, it's just like, and people...
No, I'll watch it tonight.
Yeah, people said to him, like, oh, come and stay. And he went and stayed with some random supporters, and then said he was getting poisoned, and so I didn't find out any details or anything, but I just thought it's weird, this poisoning, and I'm always trying to rationalise it and say, oh, it was the prawns I cooked, or it was, it's my fault, or it's like, but it was literally, I did something I've been putting off for 2 months. It's probably put the cat right amongst the pigeons. And instantly I got struck down for like 5 hours.
Yeah.
I'm only just feeling better now. Literally, I couldn't move. I was trying to make myself vomit. I felt so ill.
Really? Do you know the worst thing about it? When I was sick, you know how normally when you feel really sick, if you are sick, you feel better. It wasn't like that. I was sick.
I couldn't get sick. I was thinking if I could just throw up.
That's the other thing. I was so ill, but I was very rarely sick. I couldn't move. I knew if I moved, I'd hurl. And I was sick a couple of times, but I wasn't sick very much. And it was so toxic what came out of me that you didn't want to be sick again. So it was easy just to lie still in bed. Because sometimes when you're sick, if you are just sick, you feel better afterwards.
I know, that's what I thought. I mean, I can't believe
it was horrific.
But that's what I thought. Let me just get sick and then carry on with my day. And I've just been afraid to eat. All I've eaten today is croissants because I'm just scared to eat anything.
Well, you do right. It's a sensible thing. You know, eat something, but keep it like very plain, so you're not,
so So I'll eat tomorrow, you know. But I'm amazed. I'm so thrilled the Skype is working. There's this lovely Spanish girl next door. She's only 20, and it's her mum's. She offered me the place next door, 3-bedroom, but it's too expensive on my own. But anyway, so she's just adorable, and her dad is a Scouser, and her mother's Spanish, and she was born in Cancun in Mexico, and just an amazing, lovely lady. I don't know why I got onto that, I've forgotten, but anyway. So, I know what it was, that's what I was going to say. Because my landlord has ordered internet, but it's not due in for another week. Right. And so I just chanced my arm and I said to her, it's really cheeky, but do you have internet? Could I get your code? And she's like, yeah, of course you can.
Cool.
And when I tested the speed, it was only like 1 or something. But I can't believe we were able to Skype. That's phenomenal. This is the first conversation. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Thank you.
I'm pretty upset not being in contact with my kids, but I will be. Yeah. So no news on your passport?
Well, I left my mother a voicemail the other day after I found my clothes, which she brought around last Thursday. After I'd said to her, no, it's inconvenient, we can arrange a mutually convenient day. I mean, when I say last Thursday, I mean a week last Thursday. And so I didn't find until Saturday or something. And then I was dying. I knew it was just bait for me to contact her, you know? And so I was like, Nina, you must not rise to the bait. You've got to, keep stum. So I did. See to my hands, no typing. I mean, I haven't been contacting her, but the point is, this was, obviously, and the only reason, this is the thing, is she'd have put a note through my door, because the thing is, I'm sat here a week last Thursday expecting, she'll definitely come anyhow, because she won't listen to me. Why would she start now, 38 years later? But I did think that she'd put a note through the door. She's going to dump all the stuff in the outhouse. I did think she'd put a note through the door, and instead it was out there for 3 days, and it was only by chance I found it, because I was looking for a specific brush to sweep with, and found it, and it was a bit behind back. Do you know why it's an absolute kick in the teeth? Because, well, it wasn't a kick in the teeth, but it was meant to be, because it was all ball gowns and ski wear. It was all the kind of stuff which, she had rooms to hang on to. Some of it, actually, there's one bag of it, which I'm glad to have. I wanted. But there's a bag of it which I would have just charity shopped immediately. I wouldn't have bothered bringing because I would never wear it. It's just old jeans and stuff, which I just wouldn't ever wear now. Because they're old. And that was the whole point. She knew I didn't want this stuff. But then there is really nice stuff.
It's so vicious.
Yeah. So anyhow, sat on my hands, didn't do it, kept my mouth strong, kept it zipped, and then I think, then I went to the dentist on the Monday. Oh God, let me get this into context. Yeah. Went to the dentist on the Monday before I went. I can't remember the exact order, but I rang and left a message. Maybe on the Sunday, and I said, because I thought, well, you know what? If we're going to play this stupid game, I could do the deed to my house. And I thought, well, ask for my passport back, which, although she didn't officially take, but why not ask for it, So, when you leave a message, you can listen back to them sometimes on some phones, or you can delete them or whatever. I'm not kidding. It took 3 attempts before I could leave a message which I was happy with, because Well, the first two, I kept talking just for the sake of talking, because you have to leave it for the max before you can listen back, don't you? And then it got to the final one. And so I thought, and so I didn't listen back to that one. I just got, because I didn't want to be all emotional or sound angry. And it's very difficult to not sound angry when you are hurt. So anyhow, yeah, I left it wasn't clinical. It wasn't clinically cold or anything like that. It was just, hi, Mum. Something to the effect of, hi, Mum. Yeah, I found the stuff that you left in the outhouses. I might have said something like, it would have been nice to have had a note, but don't worry, I found the stuff before it get stolen. Thank you ever so much for dropping it round. Oh, I sound really sarcastic, but actually, I know the message I left wasn't sarcastic. I'm saying more like how I wanted to say it. How I wanted to say it was this. Yeah, thanks for dumping stuff in my outhouse and not even posting a note. Thanks for totally disrespecting me and coming anyhow and doing it in a sly way when she snuck into my back garden. I'm going to get... My old lady used to have a padlock on that back gate. I'm starting to understand why. Keep all the scum out. No, that's so horrible. I don't mean it. But, oh, God. Anyhow, the point of the message was, I said...
It's so much healthier. Like, I don't know, right... My mum does stuff at me, and I go into blind rage. Like, she changed the locks. She told
no, she does to me every time.
Told the postman not to deliver post for my son. And to me, I embrace it because I think, right, I've been angry with her. Well, probably, but it gives me that extra push to actually dare to express the anger. Not like I'm not violent, but why do you feel you have to...
I didn't think you were.
Why can't you tell it, bitch, you rude woman? How dare you put my things in the outhouse when I said it was without leaving me a post-it note? Do you take pleasure in wounding me ongoingly? Like, why don't you tell the truth?
I've said all that before, and it's beyond that point now. Now we're at the clinical stage, actually, really. I mean, the message I left wasn't clinical, but the point is, I've been there, Angie. I've done all that, you know. I've begged her to hear me. I've begged her to her. Because the silly thing is, all she has to do is tweak a tiny little bit, and she'd still be in my life. She chose to walk away.
I know. My mother's gone to hospital. I got a message from my daughter saying, Granny's in hospital. She's been there a week. They can't stabilise her bloods. Well, she was diagnosed with leukemia 12 years ago. So she's been dying for 12 years. And actually, when I was her carer, they said to me, the leukemia is negligible. It's hardly noticeable anymore. It's like, you know, but it was almost like, you know, she could embrace the fact that she was dying, and that meant everybody had to be nice to her and not say anything upsetting and not say, do you know what I mean? You're torturing me. You're torturing me for my bloody 50s.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I don't know if she's still in hospital, but she can still she can still pull my chain. Like, I always hope she would wake up and get free. And she does, periodically. I remember did you read that book, The Women's Room, in the 70s? Anyway, it was all part of the feminism illusion.
It's a good book. I've not read that one.
Well, anyway, she read that and she went through this huge awakening, but she does that, and then you think, oh, I've got my real mum back. She's realised it's true, and she's on side, and she's going to validate me, and I've got a partner now to solve all this. But then, if it means that she's going to be unpopular or rejected or scandalised or in any way, then she throws you again, and it's just... So it's almost like I'd rather she didn't wake up every now and then a bit, because it's like, it's just torturing, because then it's all, she's fucked you over.
Maybe set up. You never know. Because it's all trauma, isn't it?
Oh, total. Like, the way I cope with my dad is I don't have contact. I did go up there, when I found out my mother had changed the locks, I stormed up. And I got the courage to storm into the farm and then storm over the road to my father's. And he acted all delighted. Oh, there's a wonderful blonde just come in the kitchen. And you talking to my sister on the phone and being all super sweet. And but mostly I just don't have contact. But with my mum, I don't know. The betrayal seems worse with my mum.
Yeah, with my mother, like, all of the expressive stuff, it's already been done. She's never going to wake up, and I know that. And that isn't what I've been trying to get her to do anyhow. All I was just trying to get her to do.
I don't want you to say that just because I know words are powerful, but...
What do you mean? No, she might wake up, but she's
never,
you know.
Wake up, and I know that. It's like a prophecy.
Well, all right, she might wake up, Angie, and the whole reason, really, why all this has happened now, there's multiple reasons why. This is how mind control, how clever it is. I keep thinking in my head that I walked away from her, when the truth of the matter is, I made three, I think the first one was 7 minutes long, the first video was 7 minutes long, second one was 5 minutes long, and the third one, because she never watched them, she can't listen to me, so the last one was 3 minutes long, okay? And she definitely had the last one, and they were angry or shouting, they were very calm. And I was just basically saying, it was nothing to do with all this stuff. I know she watches some of the videos, but she won't watch much of them because she can't handle it, you know. I can understand it, it'll spin her out. So why I don't really think about my family that much in them, because I don't want to hurt people unnecessarily. And what is there to say, you know? What is there to say, really? I mean, about
she's pissed off that your grandfather skipped her and gave the inheritance to you. I think, and it's very obvious that she's pissed off. Because,
why do you think that he gave me an inheritance? Do you know how much I got when he died? Make a random guess. Give me a random figure. How much do you think I got?
20, 30 grand. It doesn't matter. It skipped
her. No, I skipped her. He wanted to.
You didn't. But I thought you said you got the auntie's money that allowed you to buy the house.
That was meant to be for my education. That was when I was I don't know, 7 years old or something.
But it's pissed her off. It's pissed her off.
No, it didn't.
What's she doing with the deeds to your house?
You've no idea. It's not financial. This isn't financial, Angie. With me and her, it's not financial. I've got nothing. Mum's got tons of cash. This isn't financial.
Yeah, I know. But still, I think financial abuse is one of a very underrated.
No, I do. Yeah, financially abused, but no. It was all a family decision that I get that money for my education. It wasn't just grandmother's.
She resents it because you're not a doctor or a solicitor or a.
No, I'm exactly what I was meant to be. I was programmed to be what I am, except I'm not New Age. That's the only difference. I was programmed to be what I am. But I'm not a New Age Christian. I'm just a normal, I am a genuine person of Christ. I was programmed to be like a New Age version. I'm exactly what I'm programmed to be. I'm just not quite, because I know the real Jesus and I know the real truth. That's why they're furious with me. That's why. I was programmed to, because everything that happened to me, except for getting to know the real Jesus, was programmed to happen. The only difference is that Jesus saved me from the destiny and fate which they tried to have for me. And that's why they're furious with me. That's why. Because I was taught mind over matter as a kid. These people that don't believe in anything spiritual, I was taught mind over matter. My granny and I had my granny had cast iron fingers, is what they called them. Which basically meant she could get stuff out of the oven with her bare hands and wouldn't get burned. So I copied Granny and had cast iron fingers too. Mum couldn't do it, but it's all mind matter.
You had what?
Yeah. My granny, who I'm named after, Nina. No matter what, who I'm named after really is not either of them, but anyhow.
Cast iron fingers, so she can pick up hot pans and it doesn't burn.
She gets around the oven, yeah, and she'd have. Yeah, and I could do that now if I wanted to, but I don't. Well,
develop self-harm.
No. When you do it, you're not burning yourself. That's the whole point. It's mind over matter.
Yeah, like walking on hot coals. When when I went to Saint-Sever-le-Vicomte in Normandy, which was the mother house of my auntie, the nun's order, it was a 12th century Benedictine abbey given over to the nuns. Well, they've got all these like chambers, like I'm sure they're Jesuits, and they've got all these torture chambers which are supposed to impress you, like she slept on a bed of nails and she flagellated herself and she, wore a horsehair vest and all this. It's just so horrible to me. It's
like when you're a little tiny girl and you don't really know what it is, and then all you know is that your granny, who is your grandma, and like when I was a kid, up until like 9 years old, we were there all the time, especially on weekends. We spent the whole weekend there. We go home on a Saturday night, come back Sunday, and so we, the long and short of it all is that when I say cast iron fingers, I don't mean like any of that, but yes, go on.
Where did she live?
Where did my grandma live? Just up the road.
Tell me exactly. Are you talking Yorkshire?
Just up the road, yeah. Like 5 minutes drive away.
Right.
Like, I'm from Burley and Wharfdale, they live in Benridden. Yeah. So I'm not saying, I wasn't puffing air at you, I was just puffing air at the thought and cringe, I was just cringing at things. We can interview this if you want. I want to go shopping and get a bottle of milk, because otherwise I wake up in the morning and there'll be nothing to have any coffee with, and that'll be really rubbish. But I mean, interview it, film it if you want to. The shop's only there.
I don't know if it's filming or not. Like I said, my interview software gets sabotaged. I don't know if it is, but I've got this overwhelming urge to say out.
This stuff I thought we were filming. I don't want all this stuff about my family out there, like in this kind of way. I'd be talking a lot more differently. I can say the same things, but a lot more censored, self-censored.
No, but I told you, and I'm always this way about interviews, right? And this is why Miles got that interview. I did an interview with Miles. It was absolutely brilliant, but I gave it to him so that he didn't feel insecure, so that when he's ready, he will release it. And he can edit it. So I've got no interest in ambushing people or sabotaging people or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Why would I do that? I don't get paid.
No. I just didn't realise it was filming, like, right a second now. But I do need to go to the shop. Can we call back in, can I call back in 5, yeah, I'm only going literally to the end of my road and back. I'll be 10 minutes tops.
I think we should do it tomorrow, because I'm getting tired. I'm not an evening person.
Well, that's okay then. We can keep talking 15 minutes. It's open till 10, so it's 9:15 now. So we'll keep talking a little longer, and then I'll go, as long as I get off before the shop closes. It's just I don't want to wake up in the morning and have no milk, because that's rubbish.
We'll get off, but I want to say Albert and the Lion for you.
What do you mean?
I want to say a monologue for you.
Go on.
I don't know why. Because you're not even in Lancashire, you're in Yorkshire, aren't you? Right, there's a famous seaside place called Blackpool that's noted for fresh air and fun. And Mr. and Mrs. Ramsbottom went there with young Albert, their son. A grand little fellow was Albert, all dressed in his best, quite a swell, and he'd a stick with an horse's head handle, the finest that Woolworth could sell. He didn't think much to the ocean. The waves they was fiddling and small. There was no wrecks and nobody drowned it. In fact, nothing to laugh at all. So in seeking for further amusement, they paid and went into the zoo, where they'd lions and tigers and camels and old ale and sandwiches too. There were one great big lion called Wallace. His face was all covered in scars as he lay in somnolent posture with his face against the side of the bars. Now Albert had heard about lions, how they was ferocious and wild, and to see Wallace lying so peaceful didn't seem quite right to the child. So straightway the brave little fella, not showing a morsel of fear, took up his stick with its horse's head handle and shoved it in Wallace's ear. You could see that the lion didn't like it. They're giving a kind of a roll when he stuck his head through bars, grabbed Albert and swallowed the little lad whole. Now, Pa, who had seen the occurrence and didn't know what to do next, said, "Mother, yon lion's at Albert." And Mother said, I am vexed." They complained to the animal keeper, who came and he said, "What's to do?" Pa said, "Yon lion's at Albert, and him in his Sunday best too." The zookeeper gave his opinion that no one was really to blame, and he said that the York to the Ramsbottoms would add further kids to their name. And that mother got proper blazing. "And thank you, sir, kindly," said she. "What, waste all our lives raising children to feed ruddy lions? Not me." You can hate me now. You can hate me now. You're going to get mad at me.
It's pure programming. It's fascinating that you have the urge to say that, because it's pure programming.
No, I tell you as well, what's really disturbing is like the programming is to imitate accents, and even though yours is Yorkshire and that's Lancashire, I've got so many accents.
You have to accent now.
I've got so many accents. It's a chameleon thing.
Yeah, I always say I'm a blank because I was like created to like, you know, I could be like with lords and ladies theoretically, or I could be on a council estate in the middle of Leeds or Bradford. I could blend.
Do you know when I found it? I'll just tell you this. Do you know when it freaked me out? Because I know it's involuntary, right? I was in a room with about 5 nationalities. A French person, a German person, an English person, an Irish person, whatever. And each person...
You're telling a joke. Cannot be... Sorry.
No, I swear to God, right? I was in a room with all these different nationalities. I couldn't find my own accent every time I spoke to one of them.
Interesting thing. I know exactly what you mean. Exactly what you mean.
I couldn't control it. It's totally involuntary.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And that's the interesting thing, because, hang on, I've been eating pepper stuffed with cream cheese, and it just made me but like a lady. No, I'm kidding. That's the interesting thing. I used to go abroad with my best friend, and she'd do that. She'd pick, like, it would be quite embarrassing, purely because if we were in Morocco, she'd start speaking with this Moroccan accent.
Can't help
it. What are you doing? Yeah, and I'll tell you what me and her used to do all the time, with both cracking to Scottish. It was like part of our thing, and we'd like have full conversations in Scottish. But yeah, I am a blender. Like, for example, if I was, it's years ago now, I don't really like hang around. Like, I used to go clubbing like at this place in Leeds, and it was right on the edge. It was like between Hare Hills and Chapeltown. I used to go to Chapeltown. My friend lived over there. Because obviously if I went there, I wouldn't speak in my normal voice. Like, this is my normal voice, you know? But I'd just like, I wouldn't be like, I think I've got to roughen it up. I'd just organically roughen it up.
I know.
Like this, then I'd get the hell beaten out of me. Or, well, I'd get, you know, stuff would happen. It wouldn't be nice. So I'd naturally blend. And because of my colouring, it's easy to do. But if I go abroad, my voice stays the same. But no, I'm not very good at languages myself, but I'm very good at understanding them. Very, very good at understanding them. I sound so sad, but I love, like, the sitting on the beach, or, well, I don't really like sitting on the beach. That's a bad analogy. I love sitting and hearing people chatting in German, or French, or Italian, or Greek. Spanish, yeah, I can get the gist, but I don't speak a word of Spanish, you know, not really. Yeah, and listen, I love, like, figuring out what they're talking about. In fact, I said to my doctor not that long ago, I said, I'm like the perfect spy, because I don't really speak any languages back, but I can sit and listen to people chatting, and they, you know, and pick it all up, and know what they're chatting about, and his eyes froze, and he just went like, oh, it's giving me chills. Don't know why, it's like not that big a deal. But it's giving me chills. So then I sounded like I was joking. You know, I wasn't joking. Pardon?
When we in the military kids, because we changed schools every 3 years, we had to learn to blend.
Yeah. Well, it's not an accident though, is it? Because if you're going to be a spy, and if you're going to have to do stuff which you don't know you're doing, but if they're going to make you do stuff, you have to blend.
And then the other thing is the nuns, the Jesuit education is of a very high standard, and they made you learn Latin. It was the closest thing to public school. Well, it was private education, but we had to learn Latin. And so as a consequence of travelling and having this parrot thing built in, I speak French, I speak German, I speak Spanish, I speak some Arabic, I speak... Do you know what I mean? It just... And literally I can speak to somebody on the beach and ask them for a light, and no matter what language they speak, I can come back there. But the fact that it's involuntary makes me angry. Like, I had that overwhelming urge to just do that ditty. Just because I think because you and I trust each other, I'm not speaking in a way like you, because you know how I speak and I know how you speak. But it was still an overwhelming urge. Do you know what I'm saying? It's still that automatic stuff that I resent.
How do you speak normally then? Because to me, you sound very neutral. And I always thought that you speak, because on your own tapes, you speak the same way there that you speak to me. So
yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Up until just then, I've never felt any.
I hear you.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I know.
For some reason, I got this overwhelming urge to just mimic. And I hope you don't take it that I was being disrespectful. I really wasn't.
No, I didn't mean that like that. I meant. Well, I said something really, really dumb because I was thinking, well, you always sound quite neutral when you speak to me. Is that really your voice? Then I thought, of course it is. I've heard your videos, which you do on your own, and that is your voice. And that's the only reason why I asked that, because I thought, well, okay, if your accent changes depending on who you're speaking to. But,
it does, unless I'm really conscious not to have it. Because I don't change my accent with you, I was getting sucked in. Do you see what I'm saying?
I found something out really interesting today. I've always wanted my Greek connection because I really am bonded to Greece. If I wanted to, not run, but if I wanted to get out of the country, Greece and Morocco, they're my first two choices. Greece, all right, depends on the time of year. Greece would be my first choice in the summer. And if it was summertime, I don't know, I'm getting confused. All right, Greece is my first choice. But if it was wintertime, it would be Italy or Morocco, okay? Because you don't want to get to Morocco in the summertime, it's too hot. But the point being, I looked up the cult dates for today on survivorship, because they have all the cult dates, don't they? And it's the 11th to the 11th today. And I thought, I wonder what exactly it says there for rituals and stuff. It didn't say hardly anything, it just said new moon. That was all it said. And we all know that 11/11 is a lot more than just the new moon. But anyhow, that's beside the point. Point is, I thought, well, what's from here? I may as well see what it says about my birthday. And so it's the start of Ulysses, which is Greek. And it's the start of, I'm not quite sure how many days it was. I didn't look at the dates because obviously me... Pardon?
Did you say Ulysses?
Well, I'm pretty certain that's what it said.
E-U-L-I-E. I believe you.
No, I'm not saying you don't. I was just spelling it in my head, and I thought, yeah, definitely said that. I was going to spell it out, and I was going to say, what if I'm pronouncing it wrong? No, Ulysses, and it's the start of I don't know how many days it was. I'm trying to think, 23rd until I don't know what date it finished, because I just saw the start was my birthday and what the ceremony was, and I just Googled it to see what exactly does that mean. And basically, I just found it.
When's your birthday?
September 23rd.
Oh right, yeah, that's right. Because I greeted you, because that's the same as my sister's.
Interesting.
Not my sister died. Not my sister died. My baby.
No. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's also the autumnal equinox.
Isn't that September 21st?
It depends on the year. It varies a little bit. Sometimes it's 21st, sometimes 22nd. This year it's 23rd. I'm sure it was this year, it's the third, but it depends. On the year I was born, it wasn't the autumnal equinox, but it depends on the year. I mean, we all know that time is not all it seems, you know. Time is time, but the way we count it's wrong. Or the way we're taught to count it's wrong.
Okay.
And so, I keep getting cold. Not cold shivers, but the implant thing. I always knew I had implants in my eyes because it's chilling, the microwave stuff and the implant stuff. Nobody wants to believe it's real because it's scary to think that can happen. It's scary to think that you can be sat innocently going about your daily business, and at a flick of a switch they can do that kind of thing to you. It's not a nice thought, okay?
I got revelation about 2 months ago. The reason why God was so adamant about don't take the mark of the beast, whatever you do, don't take it, because the only way out is to cut your hand off or cut your head off, is because I believe that the RFID chip is going to take away your freedom of creative thought, your freedom of choice, you're going to be totally roboticized once you've got that.
With implants, and knowing I have implants, yes, of course we don't want to take consciously the mark. No, of course we don't. But when you've already got them and you didn't choose to have them.
Yeah, you didn't ask for that. Yeah, I understand.
No. All I want to try and say is, the other day they did literally switch the volume off in my right side first, and then of course the left side. They turned it off on my right side. And this is what, I've never spoken that much about implants. I touched on it in the base interviews, I'm sure I did, but I can't face watching it back just to find exactly where I spoke about implants. But I'm sure I spoke about one in my eye. They like to target the right hand side. I've noticed that a lot with my cat and with myself. Because if you think about it, it's not rocket science, is it? Right side, right way, left side. It's not rocket science to work out why they target the right hand side more heavily than the left hand side. It's not rocket science. Anyhow, so yeah, they switched the right hand side off first, and the left hand. I mean, bear in mind, this wasn't like over like minutes and minutes, but it also wasn't just a millisecond. You know, it was a little. It was definitely long enough to notice. So right side. Talking about it now, they start messing around with my hearing. So I sound like I feel like now that I'm under the deep ocean talking to you. It's really trippy. Anyhow, I can deal with it though. I'm used to it now. Well, I'm used to it now. I can deal with it is most of the point. And they don't do it that often, but if I try and talk about implants, they immediately start messing with them, so it's quite hard to talk about them. So yeah, right side got switched off, left side got switched up, and then it went, so obviously I got deafened down my left ear, and then they switched the left side off and deafened me down the right hand side, and then the hearing came back, but I felt like I was in a pressure cooker, or you know, like when you go in a compression tank after you've been. Yeah, it felt like that. And then, don't ask me why, I looked out the window and there was like this big 4x4 black thing at the bottom, like a massive, you know, one of these massive, like, not American, almost like the English version of like American type, truck type vehicle things. And I'm looking at the registration plate because it looked really interesting, except I can't see because it's so blurry. And so my vision started going, you know, obviously my vision was being affected. Anyhow, I made a video about that. And I uploaded it, but it won't be the best video in the world because it was so hard to talk about. Then, the day after I uploaded the video about that, I got drugged. And I'm sat here, it was so ironic, right? Because when I was young and stupid, and still did, like, still was, well, when I was still a heroin addict, the idea, and I've read about flashbacks and all that kind of...
You keep shocking me.
What do you mean?
Yeah, that shocked me. Well done for getting off it.
Which bit?
Heroin.
Oh, it's just, it is what it was. It was. Please, God, let me speak. It is what it was, you know.
That shocks me. Well done for coming back.
Thank you. Moving on, though. I'm not moving on, but that's the whole point. When I was on that, the idea of a flashback when you're spending a packet on drugs every day, well, on that drug every day, because I was never doing drugs, I was doing that. irony being, at the time, I was dead proud of myself that that's all I did, because most people that were on that kind of stuff were doing booze and coke and crack and the whole 10, and I was just doing that. So I know it sounds mental to be like dead proud of yourself that all you're doing is one. But yeah, actually, that's how mental it was. In my 20s, I needed a painkiller, and I knew not to go to doctors because their drugs are a million times worse. And also, you've got to bear in mind, this was all triggered. I'd woken up at 20, and they couldn't control me. And this is the 90s. I didn't want someone shouting from the rooftops at 20 years, in the 90s, sorry. It didn't matter my age. It was in the 90s. There's so much stuff happened. I mean, what person has to leave home? Because otherwise, their best friend's going to get sectioned, and the son put in care just to punish you for waking up. It's all like mad. And then I wish I had the letters still. I so do wish I had those letters. Renegotiating my return back to Ilkley. It's just, can't wait to make a video about this because it's mental, mind-blowing stuff. Because it's just so, and the mad thing is, at the time, it was normal in my world.
I know. Do you know when I knew that when I knew that it was still subject, was when you were going to ask your mum about a place for me to rent in Devon, and you were negotiating skillfully. Well, I better not leave there today.
You in the fine. I thought it's dangerous for you to be in their house. That was the long and short of it.
But it wasn't that. But that was fine, and I was perfectly open to that being the case. But I saw you do what I do. Was you got triggered into, right, I've got to contact my mum, and when shall I? And how shall I do that? And when to time?
It wasn't that, Angie. It was that. Actually, it wasn't that. It was It was a safety aspect. How safe? I wouldn't want to go and live there. Beautiful house. How safe would it be to go and send someone you care about straight into the centre?
I didn't think it was. I know that you do that. You do that caretaking thing. But I thought I saw you get instantly triggered into. Oh, I've got to handle my mother. I've got to handle my mother. Deal with my mother.
I'm talking to her about it. I had a problem with the idea of you living there, not having ever even been there myself. So I didn't even know the area. All I know is that if my uncle was living there and bought a house there and they're all deep in, it's not ideal to have someone you care about.
Yes, I'm trying to get at is like, you said you took 3 goes to leave your mother a message about what she'd done dumping your stuff in the outhouse without leaving a message. Like, that's not... Right, you remember earlier in this conversation...
You were still in contact.
You took 3 goes to leave a message. She still triggers you. She still F's your head. That's the point I was making.
I know what you're saying. In that instance, I wasn't triggered by her at all. But I wasn't triggered by her. But I thought it's not safe for you to live there. As it all turned out, they had tenants anyhow.
To me, that was a separate...
Pardon?
To me, I believe you totally that you were taken care of. But I observed you getting anxious about your mother.
I was anxious for you. I wasn't anxious about asking my mother at all.
All right. Well, then an easier analogy.
You're right. There was some anxiety purely from the fact that they are hard work, my family, and I didn't want you screwing over by them.
No,
but also, I didn't want you, Angie, I didn't want you screwing over by them, and I also didn't want you living in a cult area. I've never even been and visited there. I've seen pictures. It's a gorgeous house, but that means nothing. There's many gorgeous houses around, It doesn't mean they're safe. And that was more the point. But anyhow, it doesn't matter because there was tenants already in there. I know 6 months earlier or something, it would have been free.
The point I was making was not about that. The point I was making was that...
It would have been nice though, living there, because I could have come and visited. I can't even say it. I could have come and visited, and it would have been cool. I got invited there so many times by my uncle and aunt, and I never went. But I always wanted to go, but something always stopped me,
Well,
I didn't know.
I wish you'd come and visit here. I want to call you again soon.
You never get
but I have to go. I'm tired and I haven't eaten, and I'm just weak.
You went back to shop. I am keeping an eye on the time too, because there's nothing worse, is there, than waking up in the morning and having no milk, tea and coffee.
I don't know. I'll message
Send
you,
me
'cause I do
the
want
links.
advice on a few things. I'll message you, and we'll talk
Well,
again.
yeah, you can give me a buzz in the morning. It's fine. I'll be awake. What was I going to say? If you've recorded it, send me a link. Send me the recording so I can watch.
Of course I will. I don't know if it recorded. It definitely didn't record the first time. You know, when you called me the first time, it may have recorded when you said, "Let me call you back," and you got a phone call. So
Yeah.
if it has, I'll just send it to you privately. Obviously, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we'll talk
Yeah,
again
you-
soon. We'll talk
I
again
just
soon.
want some names if I'd realise. But we can always, like, you know, talk with, let's see if it's recorded and have a look at it. And we can always do it again. Not the, you know,
No, I don't like rehearsed. This is why people you know, I say I'm a journalist, and I'm fully qualified, but I don't get paid. So I only do these chats I enjoy. I don't have an agenda. Like,
I'm not saying to you.
how many hits
I
will
wouldn't
I
have
get?
mentioned names. I wouldn't have been quite as. I mean, I would have said all the same stuff. I just wouldn't have said names in quite the same way that I did if I'd have realised we were being recorded. That's all.
You have total control. I have no vested interest in sabotaging anybody or ambushing anybody.
I don't mean it like that. What was I going to ask you to say before you go?
Huh?
Sorry, I'm not trying to trip you. I'm just trying to remember. There was something I was going to ask or say before you went, and it's gone. All right, it'll come back. It'll come back by morning.
All right.
It's so annoying when that happens. Anyhow, you sleep well, and you are. I love the earrings as well, by the way. They're gorgeous.
Thank you.
Yeah, gorgeous. And speak in the morning. Well, speak when.
It's lovely to talk to you.
And
Bye.
you too.